Good morning, hope you're doing really well. I couldn't have picked a better day to be out in the open, but however, today unfortunately my journey takes me underground. Because I was thinking the moment I parked up at St Margaret, which is where we are in Dover, I was thinking, oh god, this is glorious, we're able to actually do some exploring outside. But however, my journey is in some tunnel systems, a tunnel little complex, shall we sort of say. In fact, I'm staring right at it, which is in this wonderful cliffside just here. And yeah, what a beautiful day. I look forward to seeing the sunlight as I head back out. Anyway, enjoy the history lesson of St Margaret's hidden tunnel complex. Obviously there's more to it, World War II and origin, etc, etc. You will enjoy the history lesson. But regardless, stay with me afterwards and let's go and explore it. Come on.
Dover can boast some of the best underground history in the country, and for good reason due to the chalk in which all of these tunnel systems hide in. And one of these amazing underground tunnel systems is that of St Margaret's Bay's defensive tunnels. It's always been noted that St Margaret's Bay would make for a possible invasion point for Nazi Germany during World War II, but even earlier during the Napoleonic Wars. What you can see from the outside is an observation machine gun post halfway up the cliff, and on the opposite entrance a Type 24 pillbox. But it's when you head inside that its hidden secrets are revealed, because its role would have been to help form a defensive strongpoint on this section of the Kent coastline. The start of World War II was manned by the 70th Battalion of the Buffs until November 1940, when the 5th Battalion Royal Marines Commandos took over from them. But what makes this tunnel system even more special is that it's possible that parts of this system can also be traced back as far as the mid-19th century. With all this said, it's been a haven for many an explorer to document, in hopes that, should parts of this system eventually fall into the sea, that the history that it contained will never be forgotten.
Well, hello. We've made it inside, and the temperature has got into that beautiful underground temperature, because it was actually, even though it's the morning, it was really warm in there outside. So nice to cool off in here, and yeah, oh, that smell of chalk dust. It's amazing. I love the smell of all that sort of stuff. It's amazing, and yeah, here we are. Now, obviously, we know that a lot of people have done this one, and so that makes it actually really good, because it gives you a lot of different phasing and probably context to a lot of it as well. And it's nice when you probably will see different people's videos on it, that they might sometimes point out different things. Yeah, amazing. So, this is the first thing that you probably encounter if you come from the entrance, which is what I did today. And there's this steel sheeting which has got concrete put over the top of it, and then bricks. But what you'll notice is that it's only in small sections. And at this point, we are quite far in to the actual chalk face itself. And it makes it a bit surreal when you sort of look at the chalk face from the outside, and you're like, wow, we're quite far in from that. And it's one of them rare times when you do get a good perspective of that, you know, when you can look from the outside and go, oh god, we're actually quite far in now. because most of the time it's just scale and context, but on this one definitely does give you that sort of nice perspective to know where you are. So we've taken a junction here, so we've turned into this, so we're now running parallel to the chalk face, which would be on our left here. And like we said before, we've got this steel sheeting which is in remarkable condition, and it's in little bits. And then look, it seems to, the sections seem to get bigger. Amazing. There's a really nice cool draft that sort of hits you occasionally, and it's really subtle from obviously the entrances, and it's really nice. Oh, it's cool. So look, occasionally you'll spot these, which are little clips for some cabling. Now I'm assuming the lighting would have been on the wall here rather than on top, because there's no indication that tells you that there's any screws or anything like that. So I would assume that when they put lighting in here, that it's running on these cable ties, I suppose, really. And then all of a sudden it gets higher. I was going to say bigger, but it is higher. And that's interesting because it's the moment you come round the bend. Nice sound of pigeons. Aha. We'll come back to that in a minute. Just gonna look here. So we're now on the parallel corridor, which is roughly the same height as its neighbouring corridor, and it's blocked off here. And you can see that that's probably originally where it would have ended, as in it's not a rock fall, it's not a chalk fall, sorry. So they've stopped it here. There's a little cut out bit there. I wonder what that might have been for. Could have been for a toilet or a generator. I couldn't seem to find any extra information on this place enough that I would be confident enough to put it out on the channel. So I gave you most of the context. And what I sort of said in the history lesson is that it's really interesting to note that they reckon this predated World War II. And you can sort of understand why in this section of the Kent coast, how important this would be, because of what you saw outside. I mean, the natural sort of St Margaret's cliff, it's bathing, it's beautiful, really. Oh, some really nice smells going on here. I say nice, it might be wrong for others, but there's a bird nesting in there. Won't disturb you. Yeah, did you hear that? That was I didn't want to check which bird it was. Must be a seabird, you'd assume. Wow. And there's our other entrance. So there's two. There's one in the middle, and then there's one up here. Oh, there's some pigeons. We're going to have to invade them, unfortunately. Invade the pigeons. This chalk wall, though, is so impressive. And it just rebuttals the existing chalk wall there. I mean, that's some heavy duty concrete. They've done it in sections, slab sections, you can see, so look like long singular sections, and then you can see where the divide is. It just goes right across this secondary tunnel, really. I mean, it's not that big in here, but you wouldn't expect it to be, really. But obviously, when the buffs, well, they were the first people to do it, operated it, you can imagine it being quite a busy place. Right, I think we should head up. What do you think? Come on. It's like the light at the end of the tunnel, you've got to keep following it. Oh! Well, and looking down, that's quite a steep gradient. Oh, look at that! Wow! Oh, that's awesome. I think Canterbury Cave, or what's labelled as Canterbury Cave, is down there. And at some point, not today, however, I will visit that. Oh wow, that's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. The poor birds, I think they're sort of like swooping up here and then thinking, nope, bloke there, swoop back down. But I tell you what, historically, it's the perfect place. You can see so clearly. I mean, you can see the P&O ferries that are there. I mean, if you're a defender in wartime, you've got an absolutely stunning view, and you could see enemy ships and enemy planes for quite a distance. And because you are embedded in the cliff, knowing that the coast will come right up to these cliffs, so when the tide comes in, it's an impressive place. It really, really is, and just highlights this defence of Dover's coastline, which, you know, I do keep coming back to, and I always keep sort of thinking I should try and just do a whole day of recording it, but I like the intermittency of it because it means it feels more of a treat and I can absorb each one rather than doing about 3 in a row, which I used to do. I feel if I just concentrate on one and do a better job of that, then I'm not rushing around. And I'm obviously going to go for a walk after this. I mean, can you blame me in a day like this? Can you honestly blame me? Wow. Yeah, and then we've got to go head down there. So, you coming with me? Oh, and I've just seen, before I do that, nice bit of graffiti there. That says, I don't know what that says. Is that one? I'm trying to look through the camera. There's a 2. Is it IE? And there looks like a 0 and an S2. Not sure on that. And then JO. Is it JOA or JON? Jonah? Joanne? I don't know. Difficult. Oh wow though. Nice little bits of graffiti that are here. Just really hard to spot. Chalk's actually in amazingly good condition. Right. Enough about me chatting. Let's go. Wow though, honestly. Right, let's go. Wow. Oh, even though, like I said, this place isn't the biggest, it's still an amazing testament to the hidden tunnels that lie all along Dover's coastline. Amazing. Well, so we've headed back into the main passage, obviously with the other tunnel paralleling it. Is it parallel? Yeah. Being parallel to it. There we go. Better English. And here we are. That's obviously where we walked through. And this is where we're going to walk to. So this is really, we're heading up to probably the most iconic bit of the system, which obviously gives its name to the machine gun posts and the watch observable tower that's here. And pretty much the place where most people have entered via and got stuck along the way. Couldn't really think of a worse place to be stuck, to be honest. I'll show you why in a minute. There's still some cable ties here, or cable clips, whatever you want to call them. So again, I'm assuming that the lighting would not have been above the top, and yet here we are. This amazing machine gun nest. It was also used as a watchtower as well, and you can understand why. Now, looking down, this is where most people have come up from, and it's kind of one of them places, I suppose it doesn't really look that bad, but actually when you do come up here, it's deceptively dangerous, and the idea that obviously you could easily fall. And yeah, I'm trying to be careful where I actually put my arms, because there's a lot of bird crap here, as you can imagine. But this again just puts everything into perspective. You've got a clear view of the coast and the actual bay itself. Along there would be St Margaret Z battery. Above us there's some it would have been Winnie and Pooh, I think, gun batteries, and then intermittent in between those buildings there was a food gas site, there was a spigot mortar trench. So it was defended to a point. Obviously there's our Type 24 that's just around the corner there, and that is what you would describe as the main entrance, really, just there. And it's absolutely amazing to think that this tunnel complex that's only originally got 3 open sections, which is obviously the entrance, this point I'm standing in, and then as you would traverse around the cliff there would be the other point there. If you were stationed out here in winter time, you can imagine it being a cold and lonely place with only the sound of the sea and the seagulls to keep you company. It's just a very sobering thought, really. And the pigeons. Obviously the pigeons that are up there. But yeah, it's you know, it's a sort of, I suppose if you look at it from a historical context, it's quite a sad place, really, because when you imagine the people who would have been serving here, you know, just looking out, you'd probably get used to it maybe after a while. But yeah, absolutely amazing. So yeah, what should we do? Should we head back? I think we should, shouldn't we? Come on. Yeah, I'm very glad that I got to finally document this place. It's one that I'd had on the list for a long time, but unfortunately I had to wait for the right time because, as most of you know, I go exploring on my own, and with that comes many dangers In fact, most people have argued to me that it's probably more dangerous going on your own. Because if I was to climb up there, well, it's just me and myself alone, and yeah, you just don't think about it really. So you try and sort of think to yourself, sometimes it's just worth waiting a little bit. There we go, look at that. Oh, and there's the nest in there, I forgot about that. So there's a nest in there. You can hear it. Oh, gold. Don't come out. I'm not going to disturb you. Just wanted to show the corridor one more time for everybody. Alright. There's a bird in there. I'm assuming it might be pigeons, but I'm not going to take a risk and find out. As I always say before, nature first in all my exploring. As always said before, you know, you wouldn't like it if all of a sudden you were sleeping and somebody just came in and started shining a massive torch on you. Well, actually the worst thing would be someone like me who then starts boring you to death with history. Hi everybody. just come to say hello. Oh, and by the way, did you know? Well, look at that. I mean, that says 1947 on it, if you believe that. I always say if you believe it. It's so easy to replicate stuff like this. And there's the shadow of the other entrance haunting. And then we're walking out. So yeah, just to put it into context, this is a singular corridor passage. Just so we get an idea of mapping this out for everybody. Single corridor passage, which would have been the main entrance, comes round into almost a U-bend really. Straight ahead at the end of the corridor is the open top point, which I'm assuming probably would have been fortified at one point. Obviously most of that's probably fallen into the sea, I would assume. To our right here, that's where the other corridor is. I'm assuming that probably would have been for toilet and maybe just some other utilities that are in there. And obviously on the left is the iconic observation point / machine gun post. So yeah, really not much to it. Look at that. That's interesting. That sort of goes off. I wonder if I can get my hand through it. Yeah, look, there's the counter wall in there. Oh well, always worth a look. But yeah, I think the lighting wouldn't have gone above. I think it would have gone to the side. Very cool. Oh, that cool breeze. It's lovely. Some ropes there. Didn't notice that on the way down. Looks like 1988 on that. There's a 2013 up there. Loads of explorers have been down there, I mean, I know that much. But it's interesting that they all probably went that really difficult way. And I know that this way had been blocked up for a long time. I mean, this isn't the, as you're probably aware, this isn't the first and probably won't be the last time I ever visit St Margaret's. I've always been a bit nosy, but as I mentioned before, I've always gone on my own. And even, that's right, yes, you'll be surprised to hear, even I have limits. And those limits are climbing up the side of a cliff with a rope on my own. More importantly, not only that, it's knowing that if I did fall, well, you got one or two ways to go, I suppose. You could either drown if the tide comes in, or you could just crack your head on the side of the wall, which would make it pretty bad, or you could hopefully hit the beach, and then even then you've got a lot of pebbles and everything, so yeah, not a nice way if you want to end up hurting yourself on your own. There you go though, wow. I think the best thing to do now is to go out, And yeah, say goodbye to you wonderful people out there. What do you reckon? Come on then. Well, to say that was a tight squeeze is an understatement. But I'm glad that I've lost weight, that I could do that, because I literally was thinking that, you know, if I was a few pounds heavier, my fat boy stomach could not get through that. I just want to show you a couple of other things. There's a natural cave there, but this is the pillbox from underneath. And many people have entered via that way with the ropes. And in fact, it wasn't too long ago as of recording this that some people had genuinely got stuck up there. And yeah, I'm getting way too hot. I'm going to show you this beautiful natural, I'm assuming it is natural, but last time I came in here it was full of mozzies, and I can already see that there's a fair few in there. But what you've got to note is that where we're walking through, oh yeah, the smell of wee and poops. It's basically a natural toilet for most people. Where we walk through actually is behind this. That's crazy to think, isn't it? And I think from what I remember, it is a natural sea cave, shall we just sort of say. How beautiful. Isn't that just beautiful? It really is beautiful. And as you walk out, wow. There you go. Well, in the immortal words of Phoenix history, thank you so much for coming along with me. Hopefully you had a really nice time. I'm going to dust the chalk off and clean my hands in the sea. And feel free to spread the word of the channel. Much love to all of you out there. Take care no matter what you do. In the immortal words of Phoenix history, because history matters, and it really does, doesn't it? And I will see y'all very soon. Take care for now, everybody. Ready? Come on in. Kapow! See ya.